Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
And Jolé Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet. And we'd like to welcome you to today's show, which is chock full of good stuff. And John's going to tell us more about it.
Yes, we got some true greats with us today, and Dolores Cannon, who she may have passed away in October of 2014, but it's not stopped her from being with us today. So I've, and as any Dolores Cannon aficionados will know, there was a great deal of talk of the new Earth and the Earth split, and so much explanation around that. And so it's not surprising that we're using Dolores's wisdom as part of this today. And we'll keep delving into that tome of work as well, because there's so many excellent books there. And we've got so much else. We've got, again, our galactic friends. We've got Stefan Burns. We've got Neale Donald Walsh, and of course we've got God. So this is going to be an excellent show. This is going to be a real eye-opener. And this is, if you don't regard this as deluded nonsense, okay, which everybody's perfectly entitled to, then this week that has gone past, that we're still in right now, is something that is changing everything on Earth, right? This is the split has begun this week. So that in itself is a huge statement. And, we're not going to dwell on this for too long, because I think what we're going to do is dive straight in and start to explore. So what do you think, Jolé? Should we just dive straight in?
I think so. Let's go ahead and dive straight into the
Yeah.
show.
Excellent. Okay, right. And hi to Joy as well. So hi, Joy. Great to have you with us. And everybody else who's coming along for the ride as well. So you're all very, very welcome. So here we go. We're going to switch to the first scene, which is actually Dolores talking about the new Earth. And then we will just allow everything to unfold. So bear with me a second.
So they gave me an example. Well, it was actually Annie Kirkwood. We were at a conference and we were on a panel, and she gave an example. Annie Kirkwood was the one that wrote Mary's Message to the World. We used to do a lot of work together. She doesn't do it much anymore. But at the conference, she gave this example of what she saw. She said she was shown the Earth out in space. Then she saw it begin to pull apart, like a cell begins to divide. And as she saw it begin to pull apart, she saw two Earths. Over here on this one, she heard them saying, "We did it, we did it, we did it." Over here on this one, she heard them saying, "Poor thing, she died believing all that." You see, one will not be aware of the other. Just like the Bible says, one will be taken, one will be left, and they won't even know the difference.
I am HÄAN of Maya. The sudden vertical spike that recently appeared on Earth's Schumann resonance charts was far more than an odd geomagnetic blip. It was a clear energetic marker of a collective choice point for the planet. In that instant, a powerful surge of electromagnetic energy coursed through the space between Earth's surface and her ionosphere, briefly synchronizing the brainwaves and heartbeats of billions of beings. Sensitive souls felt a jolt of electricity up the spine. Like the strike of a great cosmic tuning fork, this pulse resonated across the Earth's field and reset the global vibration, splitting what was once a tangled tone into two distinct harmonics, two divergent currents of reality. One rising harmonic now calls many souls toward a higher octave of coherence, a path of unity, heart wisdom, and the blossoming of a new Earth consciousness. The other current continues in a denser vibration, allowing souls who choose it to further explore lessons of duality, karma, and linear cause and effect. From our broader perspective, there is no judgment in this split. It is simply the natural unfolding of consciousness, each soul gravitating to the experience that best serves its growth. The vertical line etched on that chart was Earth's own way of recording the moment this divergence anchored into the physical realm.
So it's official. The split that Dolores spoke and wrote about all those years ago has officially begun. And As we jockey for position in this third density versus fifth density split, the big question remains, when does the split become final? Well, you'll be delighted to hear that I have an unequivocal answer to that very important question, and that is that I really don't know. Well, that's an answer you can take to the bank right there. However, I can speculate on a couple of things. Firstly, could it be tied in with the Mayan calendar that ended on the 21st of December 2012, but with an 18-year adjustment period either side, meaning that the signified end times began in 1994 and end in 2030? 21st of December 2030 to be exact, because as we know, the end times signal the end of a 13,000-year cycle and the beginning of the next, where we emerge from the illusion of separation into the golden age of unity. Well, maybe. Or does it depend on the energetics of the collective consciousness of humanity? Once it reaches the critical level, the drawbridge is pulled up and we are either on the new earth or the old one. I received a sudden insight as I awoke on Thursday morning that I thought I'd share with you here to see if it resonates. It explains what changes when the shift takes place. Okay, so here we go. Our reality is created by our collective consciousness. Once the split becomes final, the old Earth collective consciousness becomes the sum total of those not yet ready for the transition. No judgment, because everyone's path is sacred, of course. Those who are awakening, or anyone who is simply living a higher frequency existence, will fall into the 5D category, and after the split, the new Earth reflects the collective consciousness of these people. This heightened, fearless, new reality will open the doors to our galactic cousins and the benevolent races within the inner Earth to assist us in creating anew. We will create our world of unspeakable beauty because our frequency is no longer anchored down by the collective consciousness of those not yet ready, and therefore manifestation will happen quickly. Meanwhile, it is our job to be the example of that higher frequency living by shining our light brightly and by being a bridge to encourage across those that find themselves ready, or spiritually curious and want to explore a little bit more. Anyway, that's it for now. We are now switching to Stefan Burns with some very interesting news, followed again by our galactic cousin, Rieva.
We are having some significant energetic shifts unfolding at this moment in time, and the larger trend is what I call Earth electrification. We're just seeing what seems to be the Earth becoming more energetically active and alive, and there being more plasma phenomena across the Earth. And so in today's video, we're going to talk about Earth electrification, and we're also going to talk about some of the recent developments that have occurred here on Earth and in our solar system. We just had some massive coronal mass ejections launched from the sun, as we can see right here. We also are in the midst of a solar storm impact at this moment in time, and just earlier this morning, NASA astronaut Nicole Ayers captured this incredible photo of a gigantic jet, which is a massive plasma discharge from the lower atmosphere up to the ionosphere. And this is probably the best photo that we've ever taken of a gigantic jet thus far. They are extremely fast, transient, luminous, energetic events. So they last less than a second. Ultra fast discharge, traveling 7, 10, 15 kilometers per second. So very, very fast, discharge up to the ionosphere, and that's it. And the reason why I'm reporting on this is because not only is this an incredible photo, like if you just look at this, that is absolutely insane. Here you see your thundercloud down below. This is taken on the border of the United States and Mexico, so around Texas, around like the southwest part of Texas. That's the best estimate. We see our thunder cell there. These build up massive electromagnetic potentials. A thunderstorm can have an electromagnetic potential of up to like 100 million volts.
Greetings, starseeds. I am Rieva of the Pleiadian Council of Light. Beloved ones, the photonic tide now engulfing Earth is recoding reality at its most fundamental level, rewiring your biology, expanding your perceptions, and even altering the very lattice of time you have called history. We confirm that this cosmic influx is more powerful than any energetic wave in the living memory of your galaxy. Luminescent gamma light emanating from the galactic core is flooding your planet and activating long-dormant crystalline nodes deep within Earth's body. In turn, these awakened crystals broadcast a new spectrum of frequencies into every human aura, catalyzing the collapse of the old carbon-based filters that once dulled your higher vision. In their place, a crystalline silica gold circuitry is beginning to form throughout your physical and subtle bodies, preparing you to perceive and integrate the refined inputs of fifth-dimensional reality. Indeed, many spiritual traditions and star elders have anticipated this moment of planetary awakening for ages. We assure you that this dawn of transformation is now arriving in full. This wave heralds what we often call a new dawning for humanity, a collective awakening from the illusion of separation into an awareness of oneness with all life. Earth and human consciousness are experiencing a mutual rebirth in this illumination. What transpires on your world in these next years will send ripples throughout the galaxy, uplifting many realms beyond your own. It is truly an extraordinary occasion to be present on Earth.
It's interesting to know, and I've heard this from so many sources, that these DNA upgrades are shifting us from being carbon-based to more silicon-based so that we can integrate the refined inputs of the fifth-dimensional reality. And interesting that the massive plasma discharge that Stefan showed us was over Texas with the big thundercloud underneath, because sure enough, there was massive flooding in Texas that followed. And one thing we know is that Mother Earth will be going through her own purging of old trapped energies that may take the form of extreme weather events, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, etc. and the likes. Much like we are having any unresolved issues rising to the surface for us to heal and release. It's all part of the shift. It is important that as these come our way, that we don't try to repress them. We need to allow this energy to pass through us so we can learn the associated lesson, then heal and grow. So it's important to recognize that there will be turbulence as these changes continue, both on a personal level and at a planetary level. But this is not to be feared. See it for what it is and access that divine neutrality while sending love, peace and compassion to any geographical areas that may be affected. In so doing, remember to focus on the energies and emotions we wish those caught up in the dramas to experience, rather than any negativity of what they may be going through. We want to send only those high-frequency emotions into the quantum wave structure so that the affected areas can start to feel that constructive energy coming their way. And as has been scientifically proven time and again, this really does make a difference. So, Jolé, what would you care to add?
We're looking for progress, not perfection, especially when we're dealing with the human condition, right? Because we have all been, for lack of a better expression, MK Ultra so bad that for us to think that we can always be positive in every situation is what we are striving for. It's not quite where we are right now, right? So when you find yourself in those stress relieving moments, because in our upbringing and our programming, which we're trying to undo, we're being fed a diet of judgment and sarcasm, and these things really can take hold of us. And it is what in some ways makes us human or common with each other and relate to each other. You're watching a TV program, a reality show, you're watching a sporting event. These things bond us, but also at the end of the day, they cultivate negativity. Although we see winners, we see losers, we feel good, there's emotions there. We've seen people get beat up. We've also seen people hug and kiss, right? All of this is the whole part of the process. So one of the ways to not get overwhelmed, I believe, is to take it moment by moment and to really stay in the present moment as much as you can, because that's the point of power. So when you see yourself start to leave that comment or want to say that expression, maybe it's time to step back and stop and pause and slow your energy down a little bit. We're not asking you to be perfect, but what we are asking energetically, collectively, is that we all take stock of the places and where we can do better emotionally. We can let judgment go, and we can also bring in more self-love. Now, we do have these outlets, which maybe we need to think about what we're consuming. Is this okay for us? Is this a stress relieving moment? Or is this, in all actuality, adding more stress to our lives? So really be intentional with what you're doing. And in those moments that you are watching your reality show and you are watching your sporting event, make sure you put up your roses in front of your TV or, around you if you happen to be live. Also, visualizing a cobalt blue blanket. Google the color. It is very specific, cobalt blue. It is also a means of protection and protecting your energy. And so if you just drop a curtain down that way and you visualize this, it helps to separate the energy and to keep the negative energy off of you. So like I said, please go easy on yourself through this. We will get there. The spirit is leading and guiding us. Pay attention to your intuition, but also come from a place of self-love.
Fantastic. Yeah. And it's such a good point, Jolé. Sport, it brings in division, it brings in competition. It's a great way to embed it into society and make it feel the way it's supposed to be. And,
Right.
We just get suckered into this. But I love the remedies and I do feel it's so important.
Yes, but we've got part of our problem is we're very hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
Most of us. We just don't let other people know, because if a person is very judgmental of others, imagine how they feel about themselves. So let's ease up a bit.
Very good point. Very good point. Okay. Thank you, Jolé. Okay. And now we turn to Neale Donald Walsh and, of course, God to learn something of forgiveness. This is parable style with the little soul from the Conversations with God trilogy.
You may choose to be any part of God you wish to be, I said to the little soul. You are absolute divinity experiencing itself. What aspect of divinity do you now wish to experience as you? You mean I have a choice? Asked the little soul. And I answered, yes, you may choose to experience any aspect of divinity in, as, and through you. Okay, said the little soul, then I choose forgiveness. I want to experience myself as that aspect of God called complete forgiveness. Well, this created a little challenge, as you can imagine. There was no one to forgive. All I have created is perfection and love. No one to forgive? Asked the little soul somewhat incredulously. No one, I repeated. Look around you. Do you see any souls less perfect, less wonderful than you? At this, the little soul twirled around and was surprised to see himself surrounded by all the souls in heaven. They had come from far and wide throughout the kingdom because they heard that the little soul was having an extraordinary conversation with God. I see none less perfect than I, the little soul exclaimed. Who then shall I have to forgive? Just then another soul stepped forward from the crowd. You may forgive me, said this friendly soul. For what? The little soul asked. I will come into your next physical lifetime and do something for you to forgive, replied the friendly soul. But what? What could you, a being of such perfect light, do to make me want to forgive you? The little soul wanted to know. Oh, smiled the friendly soul, I'm sure we can think of something. But why would you want to do this? The little soul could not figure out why a being of such perfection would want to slow down its vibrations so much that it could actually do something bad. Simple, the friendly soul explained. I would do it because I love you. You want to experience yourself as forgiving, don't you? Besides, you've done the same for me. I have? Asked the little soul. Of course, don't you remember? We've been all of it, you and I. We've been the up and the down of it, and the left and the right of it. We've been the here and the there of it, and the now and the then of it. We've been the big and the small of it, the male and the female of it, the good and the bad of it. We've all been the all of it. And we've done it by agreement, so that each of us might experience ourselves as the grandest part of God. For we have understood that In the absence of that which you are not, that which you are is not. In the absence of cold, you cannot be warm. In the absence of sad, you cannot be happy. Without a thing called evil, the experience you call good cannot exist. If you choose to be a thing, something or someone opposite to that has to show up somewhere in your universe to make that possible. The friendly soul then explained that those people are God's special angels, and these conditions, God's gifts. I ask only one thing in return, the friendly soul declared. Anything, anything, the little soul cried. He was excited now to know that he could experience every divine aspect of God. He understood now the plan. In the moment that I strike you and smite you, said the friendly soul, in the moment that I do the worst to you that you could ever imagine, in that self-same moment, remember who I really am. Oh, I won't forget, promised the little soul. I will see you in the perfection with which I hold you now, and I will remember who you are, always.
That is an extraordinary story. An incredible parable.
And the promise of the little soul is the promise I make to you. That is what is unchanging. Yet have you, my little soul, kept this promise to others?
No, I'm sad to say I have not.
Do not be sad. Be happy to notice what is true, and be joyous in your decision to live a new truth. For God is a work in progress, and so are you. And remember this always. If you saw you as God sees you, you would smile a lot. So go now and see each other as who you really are. Observe, observe, observe. I have told you the major difference between you and highly evolved beings is that highly evolved beings observe more. If you wish to increase the speed with which you are evolving, seek to observe more.
That in itself is a wonderful observation.
And I would have you now observe that you too are an event. You are a human, being. You are a process, and you are in any given moment the product of your process. You are the creator and the created. I am saying these things to you over and over again in these last few moments we have together. I am repeating them so that you will hear them, understand them. Now, this process that you and I are is eternal. It always was, is now, and always will be occurring. It needs no help from you in order to occur. It happens automatically, and when left alone, it happens perfectly. There is another saying that has been placed into your culture by Werner Erhard. Life resolves itself in the process of life itself. This is understood by some spiritual movements as let go and let God. That is a good understanding. If you will just let go, you will have gotten yourself out of the way. The way is the process, which is called life itself. This is why all masters have said, I am the life and the way. They have understood what I have said here perfectly. They are the life, and they are the way, the event in progress, the process. All wisdom asks you to do is trust the process. That is, trust God. Or if you wish, trust yourself, for thou art God. Remember, we are all one.
Okay, yeah, so I love that. It honestly, with the forgiveness side of things, I think we've all been there, right? You know, if we've lived life on this human plane, there's always somebody, and then you think, wow, did I really truly forgive? You know, because you don't see it through that little soul kind of perspective. But all these other things, as well as let go and let God, wow, is such an important thing. But Jolé, this is your wheelhouse. I'm going to kind of leave you to guide us through this.
It was really a beautiful narration, example, metaphor for how to treat yourself first, you know? And I say that all the time because when we start to love ourselves, respect ourselves, really get to know ourselves, slow down, take care of ourselves, it becomes so easy to start to do that for others. When you're struggling with forgiveness and you're struggling with irritation, frustration with other people, you got to look within. You know, of course, we're all going to get angry and frustrated with people. That is a fact. But how we deal with it and our reactions speak to our spiritual development, you know, because there are veils there. She spoke about, you know, we have been everything, but through our lifetimes, you know, this is one theory or one idea, through lifetimes and reincarnation, we come here and we learn and we keep growing and evolving. And so if that's the case, why don't we remember? Because there are veils there. And our job is to follow our intuition. But everything around us is teaching us that our intuition is secondary, logic, reason. So the integration of those through moving into the heart and creating coherence within is what then reverberates out, making the nervous system safe and allowing for us to then follow our intuition. And another thing that was brought up I found very beautiful and interesting was life resolves itself in the process of life itself. And so what does that mean? You know, we always have these platitudes and these cliches we like to throw out there. And oftentimes they're just confusing ways. They're just there to justify bad behavior. But in this case, we need to sit and think about this. We're struggling, we're fighting because somebody told us we had to, we're scraping, we're scrapping. But at the end of the day, maybe we need to sit down in the park and look at a tree and breathe and allow for the spirit to lead and guide us to the places where we need to be. And this is exactly the opposite of what we are doing. Now, opposites are good, right? She spoke of that. Warm and cold, light and dark. We need that shadow in order to lead us to the light, or in order to teach us more about the light. Nevertheless, are we reaching for it? Are we working with those aspects of ourselves that are blocking us? And are we forgiving them? So full circle, all I'm trying to say is it starts there. The evolution begins when you begin to observe yourself more first. I'm not talking about no selfishness. I'm talking about understanding that you are God, because she spoke and she said, God is a work in progress. Why? Because the collective makes up God. And therefore, we are all a work in progress. And that work in progress is what? What is our purpose? To lead, to get to unspeakable beauty. What is that? Heart coherence, love, self-love, loving others, really knowing what that looks like. What does it feel like? What does it act like? What are the words that it speaks? That's the deep work, really understanding that on a level that you can say, I have integrity here. And that is definitely a process. But there's all these beautiful breadcrumbs on the way to unspeakable beauty. And that brings us back to us, an elevated planet, and what an honor it is to be able to do this work. But you are a part of this process. It begins with you. Again, not from a selfish perspective, but from a perspective of how can I give back, be of service, take hands with my fellow man, and lead the charge towards, I don't know, what do you want to call it? More than unspeakable beauty. What is that? It's an energy, a frequency, a vibration. We can call it 0 point, where we start manifesting and things just start happening in a way that creates peace, love, wisdom, and understanding.
Wow, that's beautifully said, Jolé. And yeah, I get exactly your point, and I understood it better from your explanation than I did from the previous one. So there you go. Your explanation there outstripped what Neale Donald Walsh took down from God. So anyway, well done. Okay, so here we go, back to Neale Donald Walsh.
And you can use your imagination to create anything because, and here is the greatest secret of all, your image in nation works both ways.
Please?
You not only interpret energy, you create it. Imagination is a function of your mind, which is 1/3 of your 3-part being. In your mind, you image something, and it begins to take physical form. The longer you image it, and the more of you who image it, the more physical that form becomes, until the increasing energy you have given it literally bursts into light, flashing an image of itself into what you call your reality. You then see the image, and once again decide what it is. Thus the cycle continues. This is what I have called the process. This is what you are. You are this process. This is what God is. God is this process. This is what I have meant when I have said you are both the creator and the created. I have now brought it all together for you.
So yeah, I love that because it really made me think when I heard that about, the use of imagination is, the guided visualizations that you provide for us, Jolé, right? That is part of it because it's a group, and they mentioned the group and the group imagination all going in that same direction, the same way we're talking about with Pam Gregory. So yeah, I found that really powerful.
No, John, it just reminded me of a very funny story. The Shift Network invited me to talk one year. I haven't been
Yeah.
invited back, so this is a funny story. So the spirit told me, Jolé, everything around you is based on it started in someone's imagination first. Then it was made manifest. Every single thing you see around, not the things God created, but the things that are man-made, right?
Yes.
It first started in someone's imagination. And then they
Yes.
said, really tinker around, right? So imagination is based on truth, especially if it's manifested, right? So it's like, let's really take into consideration our imagination because it really lines up with our intuition. Our imagination's core chip is our intuition. So really pay strong attention to your imagination at times and try and act on it. And some of the prayers that we can ask is to really be able to, when we have these ideas and these thoughts coming in our mind and these actions that we want to take, to ask the divine, the energy to give us the discipline and the foresight, the wherewithal to complete this project. I know that helps me. That was one of the issues that I was having. Nevertheless, imagination is very important. And I said that in the show, and I think they edited that out. But listen to Neale Donald Walsh.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing that struck me on this, Jolé, is imagination. When we think about us as kids, right, we're all full of imagination, right? That's who we are. We're dreamers. Now, the other thing is that it's like a bit of a control mechanism. It gets frowned upon at school. Like if you're too much of a dreamer, because I remember on my report cards all the time, daydreamer, easily distracted, were probably the things that I was kind of always being called up upon. But it's kind of like it's all about knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. It's not about using your imagination. It's just feeding you with the lines to learn. So I think that, to be honest, that is like telling us why that control mechanism was brought in was because it is our superpower, right?
Correct. And if you look at imagination and manifestation, they have very similar root words or root together, right?
Yes.
And magi is in imagination. That's magic,
Right.
and manifestation is also a form of magical work and energy. So it's like these things that we are not in our bodies. Also, imagination and manifestation requires you being in your body. When you're MK Ultra, what are you? You're using your mind all the time. And it's difficult to have laughter, to have pleasure, to have joy. So bring in that imagination because it's important. If you don't have to, that's what we always think. We shut ourselves down because we feel like everything needs to be shared.
Yes.
A lot of things do not need to be shared, John, on a spiritual level. A lot of that is personal work.
Yes.
And to be out here sharing your imagination with everybody, you do that once it's made manifest. But through the beginning phases of it, you work. That's the deep work that most of us are avoiding. And I'm raising my hand too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, And the truly empowering thing about this is the guided meditations, whether it's kind of the ones that you do for us at the end of the shows, or whether it's the other ones that we've got on the site, or indeed the Pam Gregory ones. The fact is we're visualizing the same thing, we're making it manifest. And it just says, okay, we're doing it right. We, as a community, are doing exactly the right thing. So I just, to me, that's so empowering.
Absolutely. It is very empowering.
Great. Okay, right. Well, we're going back to Neale Donald Walsh for a last little section here before we come back live. So bear with me a sec.
The most significant way in which you may consciously apply your new understanding is to be the cause of your experience, not at the effect of it. Armed with this knowledge, you can change your life, and you can change your world. And this is the truth I have come to share with all of you. Now know that there are 3 basic wisdoms that run through the entire dialogue. These are, 1, we are all one. 2, there's enough. 3, there's nothing we have to do. If you decided that we are all one, you would cease treating each other the way you do. If you decided that there's enough, you would share everything with everyone. If you decided that there's nothing we have to do, you would stop trying to use doingness to solve your problems, but rather move to and come from a state of being which would cause your experience of those problems to disappear and the conditions themselves to thus evaporate. This is perhaps the most important truth of all for you to understand at this stage in your evolution, and it is a good place to end this dialogue. Remember this always and make it your mantra. There's nothing I have to have, there's nothing I have to do, and there's nothing I have to be except exactly what I'm being right now. This does not mean that having and doing will be eliminated from your life. It means that what you experience yourself having or doing will spring from your being, not lead you to it. When you come from happiness, you do certain things because you are happy, as opposed to the old paradigm in which you did things that you hoped would make you happy. When you come from wisdom, you do certain things because you are wise, not because you are trying to get to wisdom. When you come from love, you do certain things because you are love, not because you want to have love. Everything changes, everything turns around when you come from being rather than seeking to be. You cannot do your way to being. Whether you are trying to be happy, be wise, be love, or be God, you cannot get there by doing. And yet it is true that you will be doing wonderful things once you get there. Here is the divine dichotomy. The way to get there is to be there. Just be where you choose to get. It's that simple. There's nothing you have to do. You want to be happy? Be happy. You want to be wise? Be wise. You want to be love? Be love. That is who you are in any event. You are my beloved.
And we're back. So, yeah, that's interesting. I've got a bunch of things I just want to talk about. The little soul section, coming back to that, the forgiveness. One of the things that, again, it keeps coming back to me, and I've mentioned this before, this book here, The Soul's Gift by Robert Schwartz. This is where he is exploring through quantum hypnosis technique, basically about the pre-birth planning. So we planned our lives before we came here, and it kind of like really plays to that little soul thing, because there was one example where there were the 2 sisters. They came from a very wealthy family, and they had a brother also, and the mother and father died. They inherited all the money, the wealth was inherited. The son was the problem because he was a drug addict. He would blow all his money. He was homeless, and the sisters tried to help him, endlessly tried to help him, and they were very good. They were showing kindness and compassion, doing all the right things. But they were confused because every time they would get him into rehab, he would fall away again. It was just difficult. So they went and had a session with, Robert Schwartz and the hypnotist, to go back to the pre-birth planning room, where they discovered that the brother was actually a highly evolved soul who had come to their life to teach them a lesson that they'd really wanted to learn about compassion and forgiveness. So basically, his lifetime, which sounds pretty hellish, was done very much because, a bit like with the little soul, you know, they arrange for somebody to come and do something against you. And when you start to apply that logic to your own life, there's just so many things. Everything that has happened in your life where you would turn around and it might be a partner or a spouse or a friend who's let you down in some big way, you know. However, when you start to look at it through that lens of the little soul, then you can let go, right? Then you can forgive, because there is a bigger picture that sits behind all this. It's the first thing I wanted to mention. I also wanted to mention about a video that we will be releasing on the newsletter tomorrow, and it relates to this book actually. And I know I keep showing you a lot of books and things, and in fact, this was mentioned by Donna Burkett, who is part of our community the other day. She said, you know, she really wanted to get to know a little bit more about the books, and said, you know, can you put like a library type of thing together where all these different learnings and stuff. And I thought, what a brilliant idea. It's easy to do, and basically not only can I put it on, say, on the website, include it on the newsletter, whatever, but anybody who has other things that they want to contribute to this, that they've learned an awful lot from, then just give it a paragraph, tell people about it, then we can start to include that as well, because then we build up a bigger, wider library of everything. But certainly, and thanks for that, Donna, thanks for the inspiration. But the God in the Machine book, it really is an alignment there with the conversations with God kind of thing. And also the one that we're doing tomorrow, that I'm going to be releasing tomorrow, the part one, really goes into something that I think really aligns very closely with Elevated Planet and also with the community of Elevated Planet. So I would encourage you to have a listen to that. When you see it, click on it. Suzanne Stiles, God in the Machine. We read a chapter which is specifically related. So I hope you enjoy it. I was going to mention also about Stefan. He put out another video today relating to that weather event in Texas, because he was talking about what is called typically weather modification. Obviously, it can be used as a weather weapon. We've mentioned it before. This stuff has existed for many decades. And when extreme events happen, like 11 inches of rain in Texas on the 4th of July, falling in the space of an hour, is just, he was suggesting that maybe that this is a result of weather modification that has gone on, used as a weapon, obviously. And it's interesting as well, because I did an interview with Ashley Mosaic, which I will be releasing sometime soon, a lady who actually lives in the area that was hit by one of the major hurricanes earlier this year. And not just Ashley, but many other people believe that was the result of weather weapons being used to, you know, create the chaos that was created. It's an interesting thought, but certainly if you check out Stefan's video from today, it's an interesting insight. That plasma stream that shot up into the ionosphere directly above the thunder cell was exactly one day before the storm took place in Texas. And it's likely part of the same kind of cell. So there's a lot of coincidences around that, and you can watch the video and make your mind up on that one. This thing about human being versus human doings, it's a discussion I had with Chris Stiles this week, the human futurist. He's all about allowing life to happen rather than forcing life to happen, because Suzanne, his wife, who wrote the book, and Chris are both very much, this is how they've evolved into this, because Suzanne would tell you, she was all about control, controlling this, controlling everything, and then realizing now, no, that's the old paradigm. The new paradigm is now we let go and let God, if you like, because that's the other way of putting it that came through in this today. So I find it fascinating that many people who've been on this journey for many years are really starting to embody that, you know, let go, let God, allow, being a human being rather than a human doing, because we're pushed into that doing side of things. We're pushed into that as we have to make it happen. We have to push. And again, I always go back to the Lao Tzu quote, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. That is the allowing thing. The point was made about two different harmonics now exist. So the new Earth versus the old Earth. There was basically a discordant whole harmonic that was out there, which was the sum total of collective consciousness, whereas now we have two different harmonics. And effectively, you would imagine they could grow wider apart, albeit that there is an opportunity for people to shift between the two. But it's interesting because everything can be expressed as harmonics, and I think that is something that we can learn a lot about as well. An interesting point as well that came up in Dolores's teachings, parallel universe, because everybody say, well, how can it exist? How can one Earth exist at the same time as the other? I don't know whether, when you're watching this now, the question of parallel universes comes up, like these sliding doors moments and stuff like that, going back to the sliding doors movie. It's kind of parallel universes exist around us all the time. And this is ultimately what came to Dolores over the years, having gone through so many of her books. This is one of the things that came through to her because that was something that was bothering her. How can two Earths exist simultaneously and one be unaware of the other? And it comes down to parallel universes. It exists around us all the time. And that is an answer to that one. So beyond that, the other thing I was going to just mention, this again will be on the newsletter tomorrow. There was another piece by Dolores where she spoke about fear as being the biggest blocker to higher consciousness and the new Earth consciousness. And Lindy from our community sent me a piece on that the other day, which again, a very short piece by Dolores. So I'm going to get that one locked down and I will include that on the newsletter as well because it's a very powerful piece. So thank you, Lindy, for sharing that with me, and also to Joy as well, because she's been sharing stuff with me as well that we can expand upon. So fantastic. Anyway, that's me having said my piece on this, and I would love to call Jolé back in to see what you have to say.
So here, and everything you said, John, was beautiful, especially about us really letting go of fear. That is a part and parcel of really keeping us oppressed, and not only oppressed, but failing to recognize our true power is from the fearfulness. And everywhere you turn now is a lot of fear, especially if you're an American. They have that fear button. They're pushing that. I don't even think they're taking their finger off of it. The powers that be, they're just like right there. So if you are watching this and being a part of this, detach, just realize, okay, this is what's going on in the world. So what I need to do is my work. Let me take my 5 to 15 minutes, maybe 30, to sit down and just do some work. What does that work look like? Grounding into Mother Earth.
Yeah.
Minding your business. Pull your aura in. Your intuition, calling your higher self above you. Dream work, calling your astral body to snap back in, right? Yeah. Working with Mother Earth, calling in that energy, allowing for the divine to pour into you. And then you moving throughout your day with helpfulness, spreading love, spreading peace. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you are moving towards that joy, that laughter, that beauty, instead of fear. So we also spoke about in that part, doing and being. You spoke about Chris and Suzanne, amazing people in our community that have done so much for us. And he's saying, please just be a human being. Stop trying to do so much. And I read a quote that says, the more you heal in some ways, the less ambitious you'll become. And it's not that you lose your ambition. What happens is you're no longer a part of that timeline where society is dictating to you what ambition looks like. Yeah. And now your ambition is more spirituality, more talking with the divine, more nature, more water, more wellness. These things now are what represents ambition, less blockages towards manifesting, aligning with those laws of the universe. So what does that look like? That is us moving towards unspeakable beauty. So if you have a moment of fear, remember, your breath is powerful. Your breath brings light into your body. Breathe. If you're having fear at a moment, put your roses up around your aura layer. Stop complicating things. You know what a rose looks like. Just say, roses up around my aura to protect me. It's that simple. You're watching, you're somewhere, and you don't like what you see. You feel like you want to bring your Cobalt blue, we talked about that. It could be a blanket around your aura layer, or you can drop it in front of whatever's you're viewing or the person. These are some of the things and the symbols that have been given to us to help us heal and release the fear. So keep tuning in. We have more of these, anecdotes and I guess you call it semiotics, symbols that will help control your energy. I know that is more of like what symbols mean in society, but let's turn these things on their head and let's start using those symbols to heal ourselves instead of lock us into some mind control.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because it was only last week that Ronnie was adding the comment that you'd given her the teaching on the roses,
Yes.
for protection, and she was saying how incredibly effective that had been for years now.
Yes,
Learned that.
it is very helpful, especially when you not only surround yourself with roses, but you ground your energy. Like those two go hand in hand, because what's powering up the roses? The energy of the earth, the universe. It's protecting. It's all around you. It's calling it in. So ground and get that good stuff. It's possible, but as I've said before, and we know these things have been hidden. And now that we bring them out into the light, people are like doubting Thomases. But just try, even me, just try and consistently do these things and watch the energy change.
Yeah. And again, as per the conversations with God, the power of imagination, right? This is kind of reinforcing the fact, because it does take, I mean, we've had decades and decades of programming that tells us that, imagination is a waste of time. Knowledge is everything. Even forget the wisdom, right? Wisdom comes from knowledge, but you having to use your own mind. Now we were never encouraged to use our own mind. We're just encouraged to understand or to remember rote facts, and that was it.
Yes. And regurgitate them.
Exactly. And that really is not wisdom at all. It's just regurgitation, right? So it depends. It's all a big exercise in regurgitation and how good you are with that. And the other thing I wanted to mention as well is that, again, about this point about, like Sarah Landon, who we have featured on the show going back a while ago. Very good. She channels the Ascended Masters, and they always come out with this message: don't push energy, allow. And I think that's just another very good visual for explaining about this idea of being a human being rather than a human doing, the allowing, let go, let God. I love the let go, let God kind of thing, because you get caught up in all these big decisions you've got to make. And then at the end of it, when you suddenly say, well, I'm going to let go and let God, all of a sudden you feel a weight lifted off your shoulders.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And in ways, it's not a spiritual bypass, because if you're letting go and letting God, your intuition will move you through it. It's the resistance, that we have been taught to have towards these things that causes all of the problem. And, you even look in your body, when you're tight, that resistance, right? It's the same type of thing. We want to get into that flow, flow state.
Yes, indeed we do. And a quick shout out to Erasmia. Thank you for your kind words, Erasmia. We love having you with us. And also we have Sean the Shaman with us as well. Love having Sean the Shaman.
Welcome back. It's good to hear from you.
Of supreme energy, that's for
sure.
Yes. So great to have you with us. So I read the quote this week that the most dangerous weapon in the hand of oppression of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Right? Yes, that's very true. Yes. Thank you, Sean. Okay, so what do you think, Jolé? Is it that time we go to the final section?
Yes, let's move along.
Cool. Okay, well, we're going to give the Galactic Federation just asked if they could have a couple of minutes just to help Jolé into today's meditation. Another powerful message, and we are grateful for the input of our galactic cousins, and also very grateful for the ability of Jolé to turn these things into the magic for us. So here we go. Bear with me a second.
Collective group work has powerful effects. Whenever souls gather with a unified intent, whether to meditate, pray, sing, or create, their combined energy sends ripples of healing and harmony through the planetary grid. These group efforts act like acupuncture for the Earth, directing love and balance to where it's needed most. Many of you are drawn to join such circles focused on global peace, environmental healing, or community upliftment. Know that each time you participate with sincere hearts, you accelerate the spread of Golden Age vibrations across the planet. Moreover, these gatherings tend to operate in the spirit of the new consciousness, with transparency, equality, and shared leadership. In coming together in this way, you are already demonstrating the unity and trust that form the foundation of New Earth society. Beloved ones, as we conclude, remember that our role in your journey is supportive and catalytic, not controlling. The Galactic Federation is here to encourage and illuminate, but not to take away your sovereign power. We will not descend to fix your world for you, because you are already well on your way. Each of you is a master in the making, a soul who volunteered to be the dawn of this new age for Earth. Trust in your own divine capabilities. Know that the Golden Age timeline is now firmly established and absolutely irreversible. It is a done deal in the quantum realm. Live each day as if the peaceful, abundant new Earth is already here, because it is. Let your choices, words, and even your silent thoughts consistently reflect the love, truth, and faith of this new reality. This new timeline is strong and divinely protected. Your task now is elegantly simple. Embrace this life and radiate your truth. Be bold in shining your love and wisdom for others to see. As you do so, reality will gracefully rearrange itself around the light of your liberated heart. This is how you transform the world, from the inside out, through the emanation of your awakened self.
Take a deep breath in. Hold it for a moment. Exhale. On the next breath, imagine breathing in beautiful balls of gold light filled with gratitude. So as you breathe in the air, the beautiful divine air of gratitude, it's going to let out anything that doesn't align with it as you exhale. So take in a deep breath through your nose and visualize these beautiful golden balls of light and gratitude entering your body, moving all throughout. And then you're going to visualize a grounding cord on the exhale being created from your first chakra between your sit bones and moving down through Mother Earth. So as you take a deep breath of gratitude in, you exhale, and that grounding cord is created, and that no longer serves and aligned with gratitude is exhaled and transmuted. So as you breathe, hold this visualization until your grounding cord is rooted into the core of Mother Earth. Roots. So breathe in gratitude. Exhale and ground while you breathe out things that do not align with gratitude. And as this beautiful grounding cord, nurturing, loving, receiving all of the vitamins, the minerals, the wisdom from Mother Earth, she calls in those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles to clean off any deception, disappointment, failure, anything that no longer serves you. These golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles are cleaning off the inside and the outside of your divine grounding cord, of an earth element that resonates with you. It can be made of seashells. It can be made of a tree trunk, a tunnel of water, a beam of light, a rope. It can be made of a web of gold. Is it a selenite crystal, whatever resonates with you. Breathe with the rhythm of your body. Allow for these golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles to do their thing as you call your higher self above you, standing at the power position, a comfortable distance above your crown, while simultaneously your aura becomes 1.5 feet around you, and you're sitting in it, in the center. And your astral body is snapped in, fitting inside of you like a hand fits inside of a glove. And from this heart space, open up that beautiful golden portal between your heart and your mind. Breathe in, and on the exhale, open your feet like you would the lens of a camera, and call in 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you. Feel it pool in the bottoms of your feet and start to travel up the side channels of your legs, moving past your ankle, your shins, your calves, your ACL, your MCL, coming up, and let it do its thing while you inhale gently, and on the exhale, you visualize your crown opening like the lens of a camera, and all of this beautiful cosmic gold life force energy comes cascading down from the heavens, raining down on your higher self, just superpowering that intuition and that highest, most loving potential. Moving down your aura layer, some of it rains down the sides, and the rest of it just opens up that aura layer and your crown, and this beautiful, warm, golden, cosmic energy just comes in and just restructures those neurotransmitters and resolves the synapses that no longer serve. The neurotransmitters in the DNA that has disease and illness and ancestral struggles is being reprogrammed and recalibrated. That part is removed and it is replaced with love, wellness, health, beauty, loyalty, trust, all of the things that make up you and align you with those laws of the universe. These neurotransmitters are going to work, creating bridges, helping you on your journey towards unspeakable beauty to make the right choices. As this essence then begins to move down the spine, lighting up each vertebrae on its way down, superpowering that heart, those lungs, kidney, liver, spleen, moving into the stomach, the colon, the reproductive organs, as it meets with that earth energy and it begins to fill you up like water fills up a cup. Feel it, see it, hear it, or all three, while this essence begins to move up your knees, your thighs, moving, swishing through your hips, moving up through all the organs and the systems of the body as it begins to bifurcate and separate down into your fingertips, up through your arms, coming back up through the brain and the cranium, and sprouting out the side channels of your feet and your crown, and just sprouting out the center of your hands, filling up that aura layer. Just feel what this feels like, just to clean yourself off with these living waters of Mother Earth and the divine, washing away the past, washing away any guilt, any shame, any blocks to your divine light, allowing you to shine in this universe. See this essence sprout out onto your personal space, your aura layer, blanketing the inside and the outside of each layer, removing and resolving anything that no longer serves you, fixing any tears, any rips, any holes, removing any hooks, cords, vows, contracts, agreements, or any other obligations you or your ancestors may have made to keep you playing small, to keep you unhealed and unwell. All of that is now transmuting and moving down your grounding cord, and those spaces and places are being filled up with wellness, abundance, and with the same energy and frequency of the laws of the universe and divinity. So as this beautiful energy is pulsating throughout your body, cleaning and clearing you up, reprogramming you, recalibrating you, I want you to visualize a beautiful golden sun above your head. And this golden sun is not just for you. This golden sun is going to come down, and from this heart-centered space, it's going to shine so bright that it is going to shine into your environment, and it's going to heal your friends, your families, and those you know. As you breathe in that gratitude and you breathe out anything that cannot match its frequency, your heart is just beaming out light and love and healing. And this beautiful golden sun above your head is calling all your energy back. As this golden rain coming down, cosmic divine life force energy, the 85% that's mixing in with that 15 that's cleaning you out, is beaming out from your heart and into your environment. See those you love engulfed in this beautiful golden light. And this sun above your head is just beaming down this energy as that golden rain and that earth energy mix to create this beautiful beam of light that is pouring out the front and the back of you, healing all those that you love, family, friends, those that you know, colleagues. And as you take another deep breath in, exhale, this beautiful golden light extends to all those in need, to all the places in the world in distress, enduring war, traumas, tragedies. Shine your beautiful heart gold energy out into these spaces and these places, starting with you and working its way out, sending that love, that healing out of the front and the back of you. And the Creator meets you there by beaming down that beautiful white light on the universe. In every crevice and corner, healing is taking hold. And you're a part of the process. So as you breathe in gratitude, and you breathe out anything that can't match that frequency, that heart just beams that love. That grounding cord is receiving that nurturing, your feet from Mother Earth, that cosmic divine. You are just a beam of light and healing and love right now. Hold the space for all the love that's beaming out of you, and the power, because you're a channel, is moving into these spaces and these places, bringing health, abundance, peace, life, rebuilding communities, transmuting death and failure and disappointment into life, success, dignity, trust. Building beautiful cities with smart people in them, loving people in them, healed people in them. And see yourself. Take the hand to the left of you and to the right of you of your fellow man, and all of this healing energy and all of the energy that you poured out of your heart and into the world has created a bond, a connection with the collective, one of unconditional love, forgiveness, compassion, and health. And see all of our frequencies and vibrations align with the laws of the universe and unconditional love. And watch the transformation happen as you breathe with the rhythm of your body. And you send this love out into your environment, the love that's coursing through you, and this beautiful golden sun above your head is just taking it all in. Take a deep breath in for a count of 5. Hold it for a count of 5. And gently exhale for a count of 5. And then visualize that golden sun finally loosening up from that beautiful cosmic 85% gold rain coming down. And now it's just cascading down through your higher self. Your aura layer is absorbing it as it moves down that crown. And it just extends and expands out into your aura layer, pumping up that vagus nerve, saying you're safe. That nervous system begins to move out into that aura layer, creating this magnetizing electricity that gets that toroidal field lit up with all the purpose written all on it, grid lines of love. As then that pyramid with the capstone spins, and that white light has been there this whole time. And it just intensifies the love and the healing on this planet and in this universe. And most certainly within you and I. Take another deep breath in for a count of 5. Hold it for a count of 5. And see that gold light go down that grounding cord, chasing those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles into the core of Mother Earth, turning them into positive creative life force energy for anyone to use, bringing you into the present moment. Your grounding cord is clean, clear, and filled with gold light. All of your chakras have been cleaned, balanced, recalibrated. And take another deep breath in for a count of 5. Hold it for a count of 5. And on the exhale, close your feet chakras like you would the lens of a camera. Your hands as well. close your heart and let it continue. That beautiful, loving being is permanent. It's not going anywhere. But if ever you feel like you need to give it some love, just open your heart and see that love pour out of you and superpower that loving, unconditional, loving energy you've created. And take another deep breath in and exhale. You're going to close your crown and see that heavenly energy ascend back up into the heavens. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That was awesome. Got me buzzing.
Good, I'm glad.
I always get this vision, when we're doing the community holding hands kind of visual. I've got this vision, this image that I've used a few times on the meditations, which is like the people stood all around this earth, which is kind of, I'll put the vision on right down here on the edited version. So when you see this on the end, this will all be explained. But you've got the earth and you've got the people all stood around it. And it's kind of like it's almost like a garden. And it's just such a beautiful visual. And I think it really lends itself to this, to my mind, right? That's what comes into my mind every time because it's such a beautiful visual. I imagine myself being part of that circle.
Yes.
That energy. Yeah, just a few more comments are coming through here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, and so it is. I was receiving direct. This is from Sean the Shaman, Cottage of the Priests, which is her YouTube channel for anybody who wants to check it out.
Okay.
She has, yeah, no, she has. It's a very special energy on there, and she does a lot of light language as well. It's just so natural and so easy.
Wow.
I was receiving direct communication of different constellations. It was amazing. Thank you. Wow. Yeah. That light language would have been pouring out of Sean the Shaman then, I'm sure. But yeah, fantastic. So, okay. Well, I think we've got to wrap up time, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And Thursday, hopefully we are going to do our Pam Gregory guided meditation again for everybody. And I know Joy mentioned something the other day that I hadn't actually mentioned to you yet, Jolé, but she was suggesting that we kind of do our own one as well, where we can, just during the week, we can just create our own one, which we can do as a community separate to that, which is certainly something that we could check out for sure. I know that we're going to be doing some recording on that this week, aren't we, Joe?
Yes.
I love the ideas. I love the input that comes from the community. So please do keep it coming. And as ever, the newsletter goes out tomorrow with the edited version of this show. And anybody who wants to be part of our community, if they want to send an email to me, johndrew@elevatedplanet.life, or come through to our website, which you can reach us on elevatedplanet.life/contact, which gives you a free format box so you can send us any messages you care to. And always love to hear from you. And we love to have you on the journey with us because, this is all about collective consciousness. This is all about raising ourselves as one because we are one, right? Unity consciousness says that we are all one. So to come together, this is our superpower, along with the imagination, along with the visualizations, and we can together move mountains. And what else? What final message do you think there, Jolé?
As always, please like, share, and subscribe so we can get the word out and we can just, more in this case is more. And the more people who are raising their frequency and vibration, it makes it better for all of us.
Yes. Yes. Yes, exactly. Well, on the Pam meditation one on Thursday, we had 13 people, which was the value of 169 once you square that out. So, yay, 169, we're heading on up. So tell all your friends about it. We're going to be, before too long, we want to get up to 8.2 billion as the squared value. So to do that, we need 90-odd thousand people. So tell everybody. And
yeah, tell 90,000 people.
Yeah, if you know 90,000, then just send them a message. Thursday, 7 p.m. UK. Come and join us. So yeah, and again, thank you very much for the input from the community. thank you again to Sean, because we're getting a lot of really good feedback here. It's beautiful to have this all going, and I feel very grateful to you all for being part of this journey. And thank you.
Absolutely.
Couldn't do it without you. And ever since February 2020, it's been a journey that I've loved. So
yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Anyway, we'll see you next week, guys. Well, no, see you on Thursday, hopefully. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.